Evening and welcome to TIO Stadium for this round 16 TIO Premier League clash between Palmerston and Darwin. Palmerston 8th on the ladder at the moment and Darwin 4th, joined by Wally Gallio, and Nick O'Reilly will be here shortly. Welcome, Wally.
Thank you, Stu. Welcome to TIO, and we look at Palmerston, who were defeated by St Mary's by 47 points last week at Gazali's Arena, and Buffs lost to Tiwi Bombers by 38 points at Tracy Village, and here's round 16.
We're away. So up high winning the first hit out was Devon Lyons for Buffaloes, but comes into the hands of Emery now for Palmerston, who chips in short, looking there for Holt Tubbs. Marks paid as he dives forward. Still inside the centre square, chips lateral now, and he's got Riley Stone out there under a bit of pressure, and Buffalo's a chance to bring it away. Seaton Kernoth there gets a handpass back inside to Williams, and Williams drives a long bomb towards centre half forward. Pushed under the ball was Thompson, but he's first back. He's looking to shepherd now, but now he's decided to have a go at the ball. Spills out in front of him. Palmerston have got some numbers there. Sandy Brock, but Foster in there doing some good work for Buffaloes against three opponents, and eventually there's a wrestle on down there, and we'll have a ball up in the right forward pocket for Darwin Buffaloes. So Buffaloes kicking towards the airport end in this first quarter on a Friday night here in Darwin. Head out down there, and a quick snapshot around the corner by Bowles is offline, and it's a minor score for Darwin. Sandy Brock kicks in for Palmerston. One-handed attempt there, but there was some interference as well. So Brodie Bennett there won the free kick, played on straight away and kicked, looking for his teammate wide on the outer side, but it's beaten everyone over the boundary line. So yeah, Palmerston lost by a fair margin in the end, but jumped Saints early, Wally, last week. There's 6 goals to 1 at one stage in front.
Yeah, they're pretty good early last week, and it's also last time they played Buffaloes that they led for most of the day, and it was only the last quarter where Buffaloes kicked 8 goals to Palmerston 1 and got them over the line by a couple of points. Yeah,
so Buffalo's 4th on the table, but they've historically struggled a little bit against Palmerston, and so could be an interesting contest. And of course Palmerston had their first win in round 12 and were pretty impressive that night against Wanderers, so we're hoping for something of a contest here tonight. Big slap out of the ruck there goes forward for Palmerston. That handpass comes out to Matty Campbell, who chips around the outer side, and mark's taken out there. I think it might be Sean Ahmad out there.
Yeah, it is Sean.
Kicks long down the line, and some quick hands, falls into the hands of Joey Anderson, who drives Palmerston forward looking for Shillabeer there. He runs past the ball, and Sandy Brock was first back for Palmerston, but it's towed out of his hands and over the boundary line again. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, boys. Sorry about that. My flight was delayed. The hotel room wasn't ready. Fashionably late. I'm wearing a suit.
We don't want to know, Nick.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here, mate. Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah, both teams sort of playing one-on-one football pretty early, and Buffalo's quick movement that far side, the scoreboard side, moved the ball quickly into their forward line.
So Seaton Kernoth got the handball over his head, but it's Emery deep in defence for Palmerston, and free kick there. It was
Caden Holt Tubbs with the push out.
Yeah, and Devon Lyons with the free kick just nudged him under the ball.
Good kick.
Kicks in, and Brodie Foster found some space in the forward pocket and took the mark on his chest uncontested. Angle's pretty acute, but he's a goal kicker of note, so it'd be a pretty good chance from here, I would think.
It's interesting to see how their forward line will function this week, and also how they functioned last week with Daniel Stafford missing. He's kicked 32 goals from 10 games, and he's 4 behind Trent Millwall, who's kicked 36 from 15 games.
So Foster's kick went straight across the face of goal. Shillabeer threw it onto his left foot, probably had a bit more time than he realised, and he's missed hitting the post there.
Called the outside edge there, Walt.
He sure did. Or was the inside edge?
Wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah. For those of you playing at home, probably the inside edge.
So the kick straight up the middle finds Craig Hutchison for Palmerston. He plays on now. Drives out of defence with the left foot. underneath that was Mackenzie, went through his hands, but comes back to him now by hand from Eldridge. But a chance for Buffaloes to settle down and move the ball forward. And the mark's taken here by Mark Quinn. Quinn drives them inside 50 towards the forward pocket, and a very good kick allowed his teammate to win some space deep in the forward pocket, and he'll go back and have a set shot for goal.
Don't want to jinx them early, but they look on tonight well, don't they, the Buffs?
Yeah, they do. Matty's. I was talking to Matty earlier today, and he's really fired the team up. They understand that they're fourth on the ladder, and they need to continue to win, and they need to get some cohesion going into finals.
So Ishmael Palmer that was, and his set shot was really good from just inside the boundary line in the right forward pocket. He looked confident all the way, and straight through the middle for the first goal of the night. So yeah, Palmerston got it in their forward 50 once, but apart from that, Buffs have had control of it pretty much.
So Ishmael Palmer, the son of Daniel Palmer, that played for Waratahs and played for Santa Teresa and Federals in Alice Springs, and he was touted to be chased by Sydney Swans in the early days, and he was a fantastic player.
Even I remember him well.
Yeah, we used to kick it to him, Stu. Made us look good.
So stalemate in the middle, and we'll have a restart.
So Ishmael Palmer's up here with North Force and does a fantastic job with the Defence Forces.
So quick kick out of the middle by Shadforth for Palmerston. Now they've got the opportunity at half forward, a short kick across, but gathered there by Eldridge, but a solid tackle by Liam McDonald for Palmerston has won himself a free kick. Chips in short here, and there's a free kick paid for some interference there. Goes against Kevin Moroney, and Palmerston with an opportunity to have their first shot at goal from about 40 out on about a 45-degree angle. And
Dane Nichols.
Dane Nichols, yes.
So Liam McDonald heralds from the Pioneer Football Club, and I think he transferred to Souths last CAFL season, and also Michaelis McMasters is up here from Alice Springs playing for Palmerston tonight. So they continue to have that relationship with the Alice Springs football fraternity.
So Nichols' kick drifted across the face and went through for a minor score, and Buffaloes brought it straight down the middle. Cameron Stokes, who brought it in, gets it back now at half-back and drives the ball down along this grandstand wing. Ishmael Palmer under that picks up and drives Buffs forward again. Reaching over the top was Hutchison, couldn't keep hold of it, and the hand pass comes out to Bowles. He hooks around the corner. It's in short. Out in front was Sandy Brock, but the bounce wasn't kind to him and went past him, but he did well to recover and put some pressure on Shillabeer and see the ball out of bounds in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, Nick, I like the way that Sandy Brock attacked that footy. He always tries to attack it hard, and, you know, he got a bad bounce there, and Shillabeer sort of, because he didn't chase him early, ended up with the footy, but his second effort to tackle and push it out of bounds was great.
Also would have liked to have seen Shillabeer give the first option instead of running it over, but they get the repeat, and away we go again.
Some quick hands by Chris Williams in there to Bowles, but his dribble kick forward was always offline, and another minor score. So Kyle Emery to bring it back in for Palmerston now. He's got a couple of leading options, but he ignores all of them and goes longer down the line to a 1-on-2. Not sure that wisdom in that. And in trying to make his way to the front position, Keaton Holt-Tubbs gave away the free kick. Kick comes in short here, and Jalen Clark takes the mark at half forward for Buffaloes.
Self-proclaimed Rolls-Royce Wall.
Yes, he's been driving that Rolls for a few years now.
He puts that one out in front of Chris Williams there, and on the second grab, Williams takes it under a bit of pressure. So that was a good kick from Clark. Williams on the lead, didn't have to break stride, and on the second grab, wrapped it up.
Jalen Clark, that's one area he's improved in his game, is his kicking. He's kicking to position, and that was a nice kick put out in front of forward Chris Williams. Took a couple of catches and eventually kicked the point.
Yeah, so plenty of the ball, plenty of attacking from Buffaloes, but still only the one goal on the board. They'd be a bit disappointed with some of their results from shots at goal.
Darwin Buffaloes 1-4-10 to Palmerston, just the one behind. We've gone just under 10 minutes in the first quarter here at TIO.
So Mark's taken at half back here by Alex Johnson. His kick goes wide, bounces just inside the boundary line in front of Liam McDonald, and we'll have another boundary throw in.
Palmerston with a few changes, forced changes with some of their younger players going back to school in Victoria. And Buffaloes have had about 6 changes to their side this week.
I think I read that Palmerston have pushed a couple of their under-18s back to qualify for finals as well, Wally.
Yep.
So hand pass comes out here, and it's Johnson in there again for Palmerston, but the ball spilled out of his hands. It's not going far at all at the moment, but some clever work in there by McDonald. Drives it forward for Palmerston. Russell Davey here for the Magpies, drives him towards the top of the goal square. It bounces there to his brother Froggy, and on the outside of the left foot, pokes it through for Palmerston's first goal. So some good lead-up work down there, some good work by McDonald down on the wing here, and the 2 veteran Davey brothers tidied it up for Palmerston.
Yeah, it was good to see Palmerston move the ball quickly, and they didn't find full targets, but they kicked the ball to space where people could run onto, and they emptied out their forward line to leave Alwyn one-on-one back down there, and Russell put the ball at the top of the goals, and Alwyn on his left foot finished off really well. So, you know, it's been a pretty good game early. Palmerston are lucky to still be in the game. I think that, you know, 1-4 to Darwin could be easily 5 goals straight, and then the game could be fairly well in their pace. But Palmerston, as they do, Stu, continue to compete and work hard early.
Alan Davey, too much pace for Cameron Stokes.
Don't hear Stokesy, let you hear say that.
Oh, some heavy work in the middle there, and no one can get that out, and we'll have a second go at the restart once again.
I love watching Cam Stokes. He's the ultimate warrior, isn't he? While he's all strapped up, and he just gives it his all. Yeah,
he loves the club and loves playing the game.
So Matty Campbell with that quick clearance, only went 20 metres or so. Chester was in there for Palmerston, got a hand forward. Thompson with the opportunity is under pressure as his kick went forward, and a good tackle out wide on the outer side, but the ball was already out of bounds. So,
talking about Cam Stokes in the dry season, Nick, he decided to help brothers rugby league. He was going to play in the 2nd division and end up playing in the league, in the top league for most of the season.
I did see him over in Nhulunbuy with a black eye from one of the games. As I said, warrior.
So Topoke out and Palmerston again. So McMaster's there for Palmerston. That's a good kick inside 50 out in front of Kyle Emery, who took it out in the hands out in front. And he'll go back and take a shot for goal. He'll be kicking from just inside 50, pretty much straight in front. So an opportunity for Palmerston to take the lead for the first time tonight. Wouldn't be, the wind wouldn't affect him too much. It's from left to right as he's kicking, if anything. So Emery's kick on the way now. Looks like it's swinging back nicely on that breeze and splits the centre, and that's good reward for Palmerston for the last 5 minutes. They've held sway pretty much and now take the lead for the first time in the game.
Palmerston 2-1-13 to Darwin Buffaloes 1-4-10. We've gone 13 minutes in the opening quarter.
Yeah, Kyle Emery's been a good serviceable player for Palmerston this year. He's played, you know, he started in the midfield the first couple of bounces, then he pushes forward, and sometimes when they get in trouble in the back line, he goes back. So he's a good swingman. Played at South Adelaide last year and came back to play for Palmerston this year, and he's kicked his first, and he's playing deep forward now.
Yep, starting in the forward goal square, and he actually took a couple of the kick-ins from Buffalo's behinds earlier in the game, so he's got himself around the ground. Lines up high again for Buffalo's in the ruck. Kick out wide there by McDonald. Diving attempt couldn't be taken, and now toe poke along the ground. Freeman's in there for Palmerston, breaks a couple of tacklers and hits up a short pass on the outer side. And the kick comes in to the goal square. It's a one-on-one again. Davey and Stokes over the back. Stokes gets heavily met by Russell Davey, but trickles out of bounds, and a boundary throw in again. So Palmerston doing a fair bit of the attacking after the initial onslaught by Buffaloes.
was just going to say, well, they've done well to work back into this contest, haven't they?
Yeah, they have done really well, and that's what happens when you miss opportunities at one end of the ground. It gives the opposition a bit of breathing space. If they'd kicked 5, then she might be on the other foot, but at the moment, Palmerston are doing well and hanging in there.
So comes out by hand here to Eldridge, who kicks to space on the outer side. We've got a foot race here. Joey Anderson in front of Thompson. He doesn't really try to pick it up. Left it for his teammate there. And that's Chris Williams. In fact, it's Chris Williams chips in, and the mark's taken here by Quinn. Quinn drives Buffaloes forward again. Some body work in there, but it's taken in defence. Oh, under a bit of pressure there was Brodie Bennett, but he got his hand pass away, only to the opposition, unfortunately. Jackson Clark gets a chip out towards the forward pocket. Shillaby is on the end of this bouncing ball, but no one can pick it up cleanly out there. And umpire Ben Heaslip has found a free kick going Palmerston's way. And that's the captain, I think, Lonergan, who switches the ball straight across the ground to Michaelis. He drives the ball down, but kicks astray, and it's marked down there by Moroney back to half forward, and Ishmael Palmer.
Been very impressive, Palmer, in this opening quarter.
Yeah, he's a strong-looking player.
He chips in, but
works pretty hard up the ground.
Bit of commentator's curse there for you a while.
Sorry,
turned it over.
Comes wide along the line. It was a close call, but just over the boundary line, unfortunately, for the Magpies. And Ishmael Palmer will take the free kick here. He chips inboard to his coach, Matty Campbell, who was in some space. He chips in, good looking kick for Shillaby. A great kick, spills it off the chest. Got it on the rebound, and then didn't hand pass properly, and some good defensive work by Palmerston.
I'll tell you what, well, that kick was almost too good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It hit him right on the chest, and it probably was a little bit too hard for him. So two objects going at 100 miles an hour at each other tend to bounce a little bit.
McMaster's it was with the kick, and it's a wrestle on the boundary line here with the ball underneath, and we'll have a ball up. Ball up there, it's Atkinson who won the hit down. Timms with some strong work, a bit of a sling tackle's called. So it'll be Paulie Campbell with the free kick. Hand passes off to Matty Campbell. Drives Buffs forward again, but it's gone over the top of the intended target there, and Palmerston the chance to bring it out. Oh, again, some loose hands, and a couple of blokes getting to know each other out there. Joey Anderson's won the free kick. He'd be wise to go and take it, which he does. Chips inboard, but some good defensive pressure saw it spill to the ground. Chris Williams working hard on the ground. Quinn again in there for Buffaloes. Hands it back to Matty Campbell with a long shot at goal from 50.
Matt Campbell.
No problem at all.
Great goal.
That's just the experience of Matt Campbell. He gets on the end of them, and he knows he can make the distance. And he finished off really well for Buffaloes. Buffaloes picked up the last, since about the 16.5-minute mark, have really intensified their attack on the football and put Palmerston backline under the pressure, where the previous 10 minutes was all Palmerston, Nick. There
was a fair bit of stuffing around going on, you could say, in that pack. A lot of toing and throwing. And then Matty Campbell just went in there, said, give me the pill, and then he just dobs it from 50 straight in front.
He's been in the middle of the ground for the majority of this quarter, so he's done a fantastic job. He said he's probably fitter than he has been for the last couple of years, and he says his body's holding up. So Palmerston get their first warning. The umpire put the ball on the ground for our listeners and gives the Palmerston ruckman. So next time they get a warning, it will actually be a free kick.
So Holt Tubbs doing the ruck work for Palmerston, and won that hit out, and they won the clearance, but chopped off in defence nicely by Pendlebury for Buffaloes. He kicked it straight across goal to a spare teammate, and now they have the opportunity to clear it out of defence to the outer side, but bouncing in front of all players out there and out of bounds for a throw-in again.
It's been a bit of an arm wrestle so far in this contest, but it'll be a good contest all night, well, if it keeps up this style of play.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, going into time on, Palmerston were 2-1-13, and Buffaloes were 2-4-16 last time they met, so it's pretty much the same to do as it was back then.
Hand pass
in
over the top. Came to Freeman. Freeman kicked inside 50. Emery under pressure there. Spilt the ball out, and another boundary throw, and this time inside forward 50 for Palmerston. About 40 metres around from their goal at the Michael Long centre end. Just waiting for the rucks to get in position here. It's Atkinson up against Holt Tubbs. Holt Tubbs makes the front position, gets his hand to the ball, thumps it forward, but it was a bit hot for Freeman there and goes past him and out of bounds again.
It's good to see Keaton Holt Tubbs play further up the ground. You know, he's been playing mainly forward because of his knee, and he seems to get a little bit more fitness, and he's got more confidence in his knee to play in the ruck.
So, ball on the ground there. It's Russell Davey. He drives the ball inside, looking for a teammate there who was interfered with. Oh, and things are getting a little bit lively out there. And looks like a 50-metre penalty.
Bit of a fitty.
He was a bit lucky, I think. He responded a bit himself. It could have gone the other way. But anyway, another chance for Palmerston to regain the lead here. Shouldn't be a problem right from the goal line. And
Dane Nicholas.
Dane Nichols again in the play for Palmerston, and kicks the goal this time. He's looks like he's settled down a bit now. He's a bit angry for a little while, but hopefully he can control his emotions and get on with playing the footy.
Palmy back in front now, 3-1 at 19 to the Buffaloes. 2-4-16. We've gone just over 21 minutes in the opening quarter.
One each to Craig Hutchinson, Kyle Emery, and last one by Dane Nichols. And for Buffaloes, Ishmael Palmer and Matt Campbell have one each for the quarter.
Yeah, just on your screens, that last goal for Palmerston hasn't come up yet. So, but we know that there it is. It's up. Oh no, it's not. It's on the scoreboard at the ground, but not on the screen. So again, the ball in Palmerston's forward half. Russell Davey hand passes over to Alwyn Davey. Chip kick inside by Brody Bennett. But some good defensive work there by Moroney, and the ball's out of bounds.
There's a bit of feeling coming into the game, Stu. There's a bit of there's a bit of trash talk out there, and the players are really responding by playing hard at the football.
And a fair few ear massage as well, which we don't mind.
There's a boundary throw in again, reaching over the top was Lyons, but he didn't get his hand to the ball. But Buffs with their first, some clever tap work there, and McKenzie for Buffaloes drives them out of defence down this grandstand wing. Ball spills out the back now. Hutchinson's there for Palmerston, picks it up cleanly. Hand passes inside to McMasters. He hand passes and was collected pretty heavily just after he hand passed, but he'll get the free kick and he'll chip it back towards the grandstand side here. Lonergan drives along the line. Kendall Garling down there took the mark just inside the boundary line. He wasn't sure himself, I don't think. His kick goes over his teammate's head there. And Alex Johnson that was, and
that was good. They went 100 miles per hour at each other, young Stokesy and the other Palmerston player in Johnson, but and then they gave each other a bit of a high five after it. But there we go, it's quarter time here at TIO Stadium, where it's the Palmerston Magpies just with their noses in front, 3-1 at 19 to Darwin Buffaloes 2-4-16. We'll have a quick break and be back with the second quarter right after this.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere. Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Welcome back to AFL NT's coverage of the TIO NTFL season, where it's the Darwin Buffaloes taking on Palmerston right here at TIO Stadium. Palmy just with their nose in front. While we spoke about, there was a bit of toing and froing, wasn't there, in the play?
Yeah, initially, for probably the first 10 minutes of the game, Buffaloes had it inside their 50 a lot of times, and had one goal for on the board, and then Palmerston kicked the next two, and then Matty Campbell kicked that one just on 50, and then Palmerston got one later in that quarter. So, the contest has been really good. There's been some good, strong football. Joey Anderson and Cammy Stokes are leading the way there for Buffaloes, and Ishmael Palmer's been good, but I thought that young Michaelis McMasters has really stood up. Wade Shadford's been good in the middle, and the ever-reliable Kyle Emery has been good for Palmerston.
It's been sensational. So we're just about to get underway. Just repeating those scores. Palmerston 3-1-19, Darwin Buffaloes 2-4-16 to get us underway in the second quarter. Stu Davis.
So the ball up here, Holt Tubbs against Lyons. Lyons again wins the hit out, but falls into the hands of Palmerston. Emery, that man we were just talking about, kicks it forward, and Holt Tubbs is on the end of this one. Evades the tackle there, or almost does, but got his handball away. Emery's in there again, running to 50, kicks long towards goal, but this one's offline. Got the distance, no problems, but offline to the right, and Palmerston into attack quickly in this second quarter with a minor score. So Cammy Stokes for Buffaloes kicks towards the outer side, goes over the head of everyone there, and it's going to trickle out of bounds, I think. I'm not sure that he played on.
Well, I think it would come off the fingers of the player.
Fair enough.
Devon Lyons is doing really well for Buffaloes in the air, but Keaton Holt Tubbs is just having the better of him around the ground, I thought, Nick.
Absolutely. He's off to a good start tonight.
So Lyons got his hand to that one again in the ruck contest, and Buffaloes drive it forward on the outer wing. A quick kick forward again by Foster out here, and Shillabeer with the opportunity one-on-one with Sandy Brock. Brock did really well to hunt him down and tackle him, but Shillabeer got his hand pass out, and the kick comes towards goal now. It's going very close, but just misses to the near side. So
Sandy Brock continues to wear Shillabeer really well. There's a bit of size difference there, but Sandy Brock doing really well for Palmerston in the last line of defence.
And it was Brock who took the kick in, chipped it short, and Timms drives Palmerston out of defence again. But Quinn out there for the Buffaloes uses the ball beautifully inside 50 and hits up Ishmael Palmer, who kicked a really good goal in the first quarter from a set shot. This one's a bit further out and a bit kinder angle, so see how he goes with this one.
He'll make the distance and he'll get the accuracy.
Oh, it's a wobbling kick, falling short, of course, Wally, and Sandy Brock got his fist to it. Ball bounces around in the goal square a couple of times, and a bit of a crude tackle over the top, and Buffaloes will have an opportunity to kick it goal here.
Repeat forward 50 entry as well, as sort of caught Palmerston on the back foot a bit and then giving away a bit of a silly free kick.
Yeah, and umpire Sam Wood came in from the mid-zone to pay that one, so good umpiring there by Sam Wood.
So Sean Omat for Buffaloes on the left foot, kicks towards goal, but he's missed that one.
Off.
Yeah, he's only about 20 out, but it was a let-off, Nick.
Palmerston 3-2-20 to the Darwin Buffaloes. 2-6-18. We've played 3 minutes in the second quarter.
Sandy Brock again for Palmerston, drives them wide. Lyons got his hand to the ball, but it spilled over the back, but over the boundary line for another throw-in.
Well, you just sort of feel they're just trying to feel it out a bit in this the opening few minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, I think that Palmerston are trying to slow the game down a little bit. You know, the forward entries early in the first quarter and again in this quarter. So I think Palmerston are just going to try and slow the ball down a little bit and break when they can.
So a wrestle on the ground there. Holt Tubbs doing the ruck work for Palmerston. Looks like he'll have a pretty big job tonight. Just looking around, I don't know if he's got many options to give him a chop out. Of course, they're missing their first choice ruckman in Dennis and Berry, but he's done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, Matty Dennis hasn't played since round 5, and Jack Berry's been very serviceable the last few weeks.
So Emery driving Palmerston towards half forward.
Joshua Zavika tried to go the body spoil there. Didn't really quite work out.
Yes, nudge in the back, and it's a free kick there to Andrew Bennett. He chips in short, and the mark's taken further out wide. Might be Broadchurch out there. Chips in looking for Emery, but just off hands, onto the hands of Bowles there for Buffaloes, and out of bounds between forward pocket and half forward for Palmerston.
Bowles has been busy early in the quarter. He's got a couple of boundary throw-in clearances, and then he's worked really hard transitionally defensively to get his hand on that and affect the spoil.
Lyons again wins this hit out, and again we've got a whistle. This time it's a Buffaloes free kick, and it's Bowles who will take that free kick. Looks like he's going to drive down the line on the outer side. Hands in the back almost there, but play on's the call. And Some strong work attacking the ball. But another whistle on the play. It's Joey Anderson this time with the free kick. He chips out wide and finds Ishmael Palmer. Palmer drives the ball inside 50, deep in the forward pocket. Punched away by Brock over the top of Shillabeer. He recovers first and gets his hand pass out to Quinn. Back to Shillabeer. Back inside to Palmer, who puts on the afterburners but got caught there. Hand pass from Anderson to Quinn. Outside here, Mackenzie kicks inside 50, and the falling mark's taken there by Foster, I think it is, on the lead. So Brodie Foster for Buffaloes will go back and have the set shot from directly in front.
Bit of patience shown there.
Yeah, they were very patient, and they just and I think the good thing I like about Brodie Foster, I was going to say, is the way he just presents himself. He keeps moving the forward line, keeps opening up space behind him, and then he's rewarded by his hard work.
So his kick on the way. Looks like that's just stuck inside. So we've got a conference here between goal umpire and field umpire.
Going back to Foster Wall, he's for a little man, he's good overhead, isn't he? And it must have been touched.
No,
hit the post, touched. It's done it all. Stu, it's done it absolutely all.
Yeah. Emery chips out wide to Garling, and Garling marks in front of Seaton Kenneth. He goes short to the coach, Alwyn Davey, wheels around on that left foot straight away, kicks inside, and hits up Riley Stone there for the Magpies.
I'm loving the effects, Mike. It's like I'm right in amongst the action. Well,
yeah, it is. It's
a vocal crowd, and it's good. It's great on Friday night footy here in the
absolutely
TIO NTFL.
Where would you rather be? Nowhere else. Hooly dooly.
Emery drives long inside forward 50. Falls at the feet there of Bennett. He hand passes out the back. Tap forward, and the chance for McMaster with a hook round the corner. Bounces in the goal square over the top of a couple of players there, but hit the goalpost in the end. Might have been another one of those touched and hit the goalpost, Nick.
Yes, and gone to the kiosk and got a Coke, everything. It's doing it all.
I'd like to see one of the teams take a few more risks and try and throw the ball around. We're just playing up and down the same lanes that the ball comes in, you know, and there's not much happening in the open side of the ground. They continue to look short leads as Buffaloes are working it through. Jalen Clark drops that mark.
Hand pass back inside, and Timms on the outside of the boot drives it forward high. A whistle on the play again, and Cammy Stokes will take the free kick for Buffaloes just outside defensive goal square. Chips in short, looking for Jackson Clark. Hand passes to Matty Campbell. His hand pass misses the target, and Palmerston the chance again, but it's just a blind kick in forward, and it's easily mopped up by Stokes. His kick misses the target again, coming out of defence. And Timms is on the end of this for Palmerston. Hooks around the corner.
That's better.
It's going to fall into the hands of Church, but it spills out of his hands. And Stokes drives it out of defence for Darwin, but not with much method. Lonergan drives it straight back in, but he's kicking to a 1-on-3. And but Jalen Clark eventually takes the ball and hacks it out, and he's found a couple of players sitting by themselves in the centre of the ground here. Joey Anderson picks up, hand passes across to Quinn. He kicks inside forward 50, looking for Shillabeer. It's gone over his head, and bounce evades everyone down there. Comes back into the hands of Shillabeer now. He wheels around, evades a couple, kicks high towards the forward pocket, and players sitting underneath this one, but eventually some strong work out of defence by Thompson for Palmerston. But Buffaloes have got the numbers on the outer wing. Hand pass back inside, and they've got the chance to go forward again towards centre half forward. Anderson was set for that, but Tim's just got his hand to the ball in front. Came back into his hands. He's chipped it outside of defensive 50, but it's coming back now for Buffaloes. Palmer there evades one. A long hand pass backwards to Jackson Clark. Jackson Clark for Buffaloes drives him back inside 50. Marking contest there, but the ball spills to the ground. Chris Williams hooks around the corner. Goes towards the top of the goal square again.
Good mark.
And again, it's Foster.
It's a good mark, well. He really is a good mark, that Brodie Foster.
Yeah.
Not a lot of size about him, but he presents well.
Before. Yeah, you were saying that before, Nick. He, for his size, he gets in front and he holds his position really well and gets his arms out in front. And now he has another goal, hopefully to kick his first for the game.
Yep.
There we go, he's got it.
On the way, and no problem. Yeah, he's missed a couple, but that's his first on the board. And he has been busy in the forward line, and not all of it deep, because Shillaby has done a lot of the deep work forward, and he's been up the ground working pretty hard as well.
So Palmerston Magpies 3-3-21 to Darwin Buffaloes 3-7-25. We've gone at 10.5 in the second quarter. Just going back early to it was down in Palmerston's end before it was a bit of rugby union style footy going on.
Yeah, it was chip and chase back the other way, and chip and chase back the other way, and missed targets. And Matty's Campbell was the highlight handball of the night.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He missed his teammate by about 30 metres.
I will be telling him too, don't worry.
So back in the centre of the ground.
Umpire Sam Wood throws the ball up and falls at the feet of the ruckman there. Picked up some good hands by Seaton Kerneth to Matty Campbell. He kicks wide inside 50, and Chris Williams is on the end of this one for Buffaloes.
Better disposal by the little man. Tight kick this one.
And it's not close. He's just inside 50 as he kicks towards goal. The kick looks pretty good for distance, but pretty woeful for accuracy. It's missed everything and out of bounds on the full.
Isaac Seaton Kerneth, one of the junior products from Darwin Buffaloes, played 12 of the 15 games so far this year, and he's featured in the best players of 4 of them, and was one of their better players in the loss against Tiwi last week. And Rising Star nomination in round 7.
So balls inside forward 50 for Buffaloes. Quinn in there trying to claim the high tackle, but play on's the call. Palmerston players caught with the ball there, and it'll be Chris Williams who did the good defensive work in tackling the Palmerston player. After it went through a few Palmerston players' hands, they just probably needed to get it out of that danger area a bit quicker.
Chris Williams is an unsung hero. He just continues to play his role really well, and he's got a really good team first mentality.
No problem with that one. Goal umpire didn't have to move, so second goal for the quarter for Buffaloes, and Chris Williams first for the night.
Buffaloes extend the lead to 10 points there, 4-7-31. The Palmerston Magpies 3-3-21. We've gone almost 13 minutes in the second quarter. Well,
and yes, Palmerston haven't worried the scoreboard. They've kicked a couple of points, 2 points for the quarter, while Buffaloes have kicked 2 goals, 3 for the quarter. And Ishmael Palmer, Matt Campbell, Chris Williams and Brody Foster have 1 each. And for Palmerston, all first quarter goal kickers, Alwyn Davey, Kyle Emery and Dane Nichols.
So ball up in the centre of the ground, and it's Campbell with the clearance again for Buffaloes. Drives them deep forward. Chris Williams working hard again at the bottom of this one. Gets a hand pass across. He's slung after he got rid of the ball. That's seen by the umpire, and Williams is claiming the free kick.
They're starting to worry about him, Walt. He's just getting on top up forward, isn't he?
Yeah, he just does the fundamentals, as we say in football, really well. He attacks the ball, he gets his hands behind the footy and the body lines of footy, takes the tackle, and you know, he was quick with his hands then, and the Palmerston player just slung him after he got rid of it.
Williams on the 45 just pulls it left. So another minor here. No, Buffaloes wasting a few opportunities. 4-8-32, Palmerston Magpies 3-3-21. Well, you just sort of feel the Buffs is just starting to get on top of Palmerston. What do Palmy need to do?
I think they just need to take the risk they were doing in that first quarter. You know, move the ball quickly, attack the body, and you know, open up space behind them. And you know, if we can't kick the ball to play, let's get it over the back. And I think their youth is pretty exuberant, and that's why they probably fall out of the game towards the end of quarters, is simply because of their youth.
So boundary throw in here on the grandstand wing, some interference in the ruck, and it's Lyons with the free kick. Advantage is played. Jalen Clark will take that, no problems, and drives them inside 50. Shillabeer on the end of this, out in front. Ball bounces, and he's tackled as he slipped to the ground. And now the ball's held in. Going nowhere.
Should have been holding the pillow, I would have thought.
Yeah, Sandy Brock's wearing Shillaby like a glove, so it's a good hit out for young Sandy Brock, who turns 18 this year and is in the academy program and has played the last couple of years at Nationals.
So Palmerston get the clearance this time. It's Atkinson under that. He's tackled pretty strongly. Emery kicks Palmerston forward here, out towards the grandstand side. McMaster's there, toes it forward in front of himself. It's heading towards the boundary line now. He manages to keep it in, gets a hand pass back inboard to Riley Stone. Stone unsure where to go, eventually chips towards centre half forward, but there's plenty of Buffalo players there. And Pendlebury tidies up and finds a target out there in Bowles. Bowles plays on straight away, kicks deep inside 50, and Quinn's found some space down there for Buffaloes. And he's marked about 45 out on a slight angle. He's had a bit of the ball, Wally, Quinn.
Yeah, he's been good up forward along with Foster and Shillaby. But I just thought Riley Stone, the inexperience there, Nick just trying to centre the ball. It was too high, and that's where they launched there when he had someone on offer deeper in the forward line.
That one's jagged through to the left again as well, so hopefully for Darwin Buffalo's sake, they don't regret these behinds later on. Well,
yeah, so, you know, the great transition, and Bowles found space and used the ball really well.
So Brock kicks the ball well outside defensive 50. Tapped across here. Jalen Clark's in there. Good hands to McKenzie over the top. Batted forward by Pendlebury. Maroney's on the end of that, but Palmerston have got the opportunity now, and Russell Davey bursting out of that pack of players kicks to centre half forward, and Broadchurch made some good position there and finds a spare player and chips it straight across and picks up his teammate there in Dane Nichols, who was the centre of a bit of attention in the first quarter from some of the Buffaloes players, but he's kicked a goal and he's got an opportunity to kick a second now.
Good body positioning there from Broadchurch. He's just caught Stokesy just off balance.
Yeah, and I thought it was really well done by Russell Davey too. He showed a bit of a turn of speed to get out of that contest and got him into the open.
But Nichols has missed that one, unfortunately, for the Magpie supporters in the crowd here today. They're pretty vocal, as we said before, and it's good to see. They're bottom of the ladder, but they've played some pretty good footy in between some disappointing losses this year. On the outer side, McKenzie in there looked like he had his legs taken. So he wins the free kick at half-back for Buffaloes. Drives the ball along the outer wing. Falls to the front, and Buffs with the chance now. Oh, that's a kick off the side of the boot a bit, but Armat was in there, couldn't take the mark. He recovered to take possession, but was tackled straight away, and then he's been pinged for holding the ball. So Alwyn Davey there for Palmerston. Chips inside the square to Chester. Chester plays on straight away and kicks deep inside 50. Church again on the end of this one. Just slipped over the back there of Jonas Nicky, and Church judged it well, took the mark in his hands, and he'll go back, and I think he'll have a shot at goal this time.
I think Darwin have been served well by Mackenzie, Campbell, Stokes, Shillabeer and Bowles, and Emery, Holt, Tubbs and Dane Nichols and Michaelis McMasters have been good so far this quarter for Palmerston.
Palmerston 3-5, 23 to Darwin Buffaloes 4-9 and 33. We've gone 19 minutes in the second quarter.
Another opportunity missed there. Pendlebury kicked in and found his teammate Nicky at half-back. Nicky chips in short and hits Armat on the chest there. Armat goes short down the wing, and the mark's taken by Timmy Eldridge. Right in front of us here in the Morris Rioli grandstand. Long kick forward there, scooped out by Joey Anderson. Umpire didn't like the look of that and says that's a throw, which is probably pretty reasonable.
Joey Anderson always disagrees with the umpire, doesn't he? Well,
yeah.
And Chester takes this one under a bit of pressure from Jackson Clark. chips it forward. That's not the best directed kick. Timmy Eldridge cutting across. Got caught in the back in the marking contest. He looks pretty sore.
Yeah, it's about 12 months ago, I think he caught one in that area where he spent a bit of time in hospital.
A serious injury, but
I'll just watch him.
Chips inside. Chris Williams is there for Buffalo's. Hand passes back inside to Moroney, over the top to Atkinson. He swings it out wide to Jackson Clark. Jackson Clark off the outside of the foot. It's a pretty clever kick in the end. Foster on the half volley. Got it on the second attempt. Quinn tries to tow it forward. He's back in there again, and Foster picks up for Buffaloes. That's a good kick going inside 50. And all Shillaby had to do was run onto it and take it in his hands.
Yeah, it's the first time Shillaby has got a bit of distance on young Brock, but the kick from Foster, he just pulled it really, really well, and just a smart football. So Palmerston with Shillaby having a shot on goal.
Yeah, you can't really defend them ones. The Shillaby on the approach, just across the face. And through for Minor.
So, yeah, not many goals, plenty of points this quarter.
I know, if you're in the points, Stu, it's a good game.
2-6 for the quarter for Buffaloes and 4 solitary points for Palmerston.
Chip in short. It's Thompson in the back pocket for Palmerston. Takes that mark. He goes inside the corridor, spills over the back. Hutchison there gets a hand pass across, and Nichols there was didn't take possession of the ball and got tackled and won the free kick for being held. He drives Palmerston out of defensive 50 now. Working to the front there was Kevin Moroney, and I'm sure it's going to be his free kick. He did well, made good body position. Chips inside to Bowles, who's free inside the centre square. Drives Buffaloes inside 50 again over the back of Brock and Shillabeer, and trickled out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Buffaloes.
I think Bowles and Campbell are changing forward. Matty Campbell just comes back on the ground after being on the interchange bench. You know, again, I'd like to, Buffaloes have probably had the better because they are trying to switch lanes, and Bowles has been pivotal in trying to get that going through the midfield.
Big thump in the ruck, but Palmerston first onto it, and Shadforth drove it out, but straight into the hands of Moroney here. He's got him lining up at half forward and picks probably the best option in Matty Campbell at 50 out. He's onto it straight away. Kicks fading across and short a little bit, but comes to ground, and Seaton Kernoth gets a hand pass over the top. Ishmael Palmer in there, gets his hand pass back, but the siren goes before a Buffaloes player could get it in his hands to have a shot on goal. So we've got a contest at half-time for sure.
Palmerston Magpies 3-5, 23 to Darwin Buffaloes 4-10-34. It's half-time here at TIO Stadium. We'll be back with the second half right after this.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be zero.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
kilonewton centrifugal force, infrared remote control.
How does he do it?
24.5 kilowatt diesel motor.
He doesn't just know how to operate every piece of Kennard's high gear we get in, but also its service details, its safety checks. I don't know.
It's as if he can hypnotise each piece.
Give me 2 passes with sauce. Coffee white with 1, bun with icing. No, pink icing.
Yep, no worries, Terry.
Kennard's make your job easy.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Looking for the best and brightest to join your team? At Quality People, we specialise in finding quality, hard-to-get professionals, and we have an office right here in Darwin. Kick your recruitment goals with Quality People. qualitypeople.com.au.
Now that's quality.
On Territory roads, anything can happen, so you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Choosing a health fund can be tricky. Some are too big, too small, or just not right at all. But with Territory Health Fund, you can make sure your cover is the right fit.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
Get your panties, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffalo, shuffle up the buffalo. Oh.
Wedding or birthday is coming up? Maybe a get-together with friends and family. Waratah Clubhouse at Gardens Oval is the perfect venue for your next community function. Celebrate in the home to one of Darwin's iconic football clubs, Waratah Clubhouse.
For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
Welcome back to AFL NT's coverage of the TIO NTFL season. It's Palmerston taking on the Darwin Buffaloes, where it's Buffs in control, 4-10-34 to the Palmerston Magpies, 3-5-23. Well, we saw at the end of that second quarter, the Darwin Buffaloes had repeat inside 50s after repeat inside 50. It just kept happening, but they couldn't put it on the scoreboard, could they?
Yeah, no, they kicked 2 goals, 6 for the quarter, and some of their set shots went wayward, but the repeat entries, Matty Campbell would be happy with that. But Palmerston just sort of kept kicking down the same lane, and Kevin Moroney and his backline sort of kept cutting it off there and just repeat inside 50s, and probably sometimes a little bit too quick for Buffaloes to get organised forward, but they still had the scoring shots. You know, to have 8 or 9 scoring shots for the quarter to Palmerston solitary 4, they should be a lot further in front.
It's Darwin Buffaloes by 11 to get us underway for the second half. It's Stu Davis.
So umpire Heaslip just waiting for the players to sort themselves out inside the 50 arc. We're all good now, and we're underway. Holt, Tubbs and Lyons. Lyons gets his hand to the ball. Matty Campbell bursting through there, taps it in front of himself, picks up cleanly, but he's tackled and the ball spills out. He's still got the ball in front of him. He's bundled out of the way now. Oh, and gets to his feet and makes a high tackle. And Palmerston, the opportunity to chip inside, finds Brodie Bennett there for Palmerston. He drives them down towards the 50. Emery's on the end of this, takes it on his chest. Out in front there of Savica. Chipping inside, and that's a good pass again. And Mark's taken just inside 50 by, I think it might be Bennett's hand, passed off to Emery anyway, who has a flying shot towards the goal square. But it's punched away in defence by the Buffaloes and out and over the boundary line in the right forward pocket.
Dane Nichols hails from Tennant Creek. Nick, he's played for Sporty Spitfires in Tennant Creek. He's played for the Tamara Cats in Tasmania. He played for the Lismore Swans in the AFLQ. He's played 56 games and kicked 111 goals.
Unbelievable. Good start, that one. Well, we could do that I've Been Everywhere Man song. You could bust that out.
Tamara Cats, Lismore Swans and Sporty Spitfires. What names of teams?
Where's Tamara? Well, who's the Tamara Cats?
Northern Tasmanian Football League.
There we go. God's country. Greetings to our friends in Tamara.
Anyway, the ball spills out here. Flying shot at goal by Holt Tubbs, but he's missed everything. It's out of bounds on the full. So Cammy Stokes with the opportunity to settle things down now after that bit of excitement from the travelling minstrel. Ball comes out of defence. Under pressure there, and driven back in by Brodie Bennett. But in defence there is Pendlebury for Buffaloes. Chops it off, kicks wide, and some good work by Emery there. Bursts away on the left foot around the corner, kicks towards goal, but just misses on the near side. Bounces through for a minor score.
So Palmerston repeat entries so far in this quarter, doing the same thing that Buffaloes did to them in the last quarter.
So Buffaloes take it down the outer wing. Anderson by hand to Matty Campbell. Campbell takes a bounce and then drives them forward.
Jesus,
a beautiful kick.
He kicks the ball well, doesn't he?
Foster on the end of it again, drives long towards the goal square. Shillabeer in a one-on-one over the back, got his hands to the ball but couldn't take it. Swings around with a snapshot, but misses.
Well, he was in the box seat there, wasn't he, to take that mark? And he's often saying he does it every now and again, but he just drops it right at the last moment, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was. He did everything right. And Sandy Brock, you know, is not, you know, he'd be 100 kilos and Sandy'd be 60, 70 kilos.
Bringing weight.
Yeah, he's done pretty well, Sandy, and he just backed into him at the right time just to unearth him from marking the ball.
So Lonergan's kick here looks to be in a bit of trouble, and he's missed his target, and Jonas Nicky has chipped in and taken the mark. He's telling his teammates, I've got this one covered, don't worry about leading. And
these are the ones I love, Stu. These are the ones I love. Let's see what he can do. He'll kick from about 48 out on the 45. What can Nicky do?
He was confident right from the start. He was never going anywhere else. Kicks on its way now. That's going to miss to the left. And again, a minor score for Darwin Buffaloes. So it's Brock for Palmerston. Runs out of the goal square now and chips the ball out towards half-back. Holt Tubbs picks it up nicely on the bounce. Hand passes back inside to Thompson. Thompson drives down the line, but it's all Buffaloes here. Tap comes down towards Williams, who's bundled out of the way. Armat picked up and hand passed quickly, but it's chopped off there. And Palmerston drive it forward again off of Pendlebury's foot into the hands of Eldridge. He sweeps it out wide with the hand pass to Bowles. Bowles along the line to Nicky. Nicky back inside to Pendlebury. Pendlebury inside 50, and Quinn's on the end of this right on the 50 line.
Pendlebury's a bit of a journeyman too, Nick. Bendigo Football Club, Gippsland League, Gippsland Power, Casey Demons, WorkSafe, St Betty's, Gippsland Power, Port Melbourne, Casey Demons, Sale Football Club, Norwood Football Club, Barwon, Wodonga Football and Sports Club, Darwin Buffaloes and Northcote Park.
Northcote Park, down I've got a bit of a similar one. Well, if you looked at mine, it would say Kangaroo Flat, Kennington Sandhurst, Kangaroo Flat. I went back to Kangaroo Flat, finished under 18s there. So, yeah, not quite the journeyman though.
That's a fair list of clubs, I reckon.
If you looked me up on Footy Well, I don't reckon I'd be there.
So Riley Stone with the ball in his hands now. Wonder if he's got life membership at any of those clubs, Wally.
I don't know. He's played 226 games in total, Stu, and the most he's ever played at one club is 28. That's Sale. So I don't think so.
Jimmy Eldridge out of defence for Buffaloes with a bounce, and Holt Tubbs sits under this one, takes it on his chest, and now switches the ball across to the centre of the ground. McMaster out there, spilled it off his chest, and now he's in some trouble. Pats it out the back, but Joey Anderson's there. He kicks the ball high around the corner. Quinn underneath this, but Holt Tubbs over the top. And coming in strongly was Thompson. He managed to get the handball out as he was tackled. And now there's a wrestle for it on the ground. In and underneath, Misha Perry's in there. And Alex Johnson, but the ball spills it forward for Buffaloes now. Seaton Kerneth tries to hand pass inboard, but McMaster managed to get his hands to that, and now the ball comes back to him. He chips out wide here, looking for Freeman, who's met solidly by Jalen Clark. Doesn't like the fact that a free kick's been paid against him, but gives the ball back as he has to.
Even Joey Anderson said, calm down then. It must have been a free kick if Joey's saying that.
So McMasters drives it forward for Palmerston, but again, there's plenty of Buffaloes players here, and the advantage is played. Cammy Stokes drives it close to the boundary line. In front, Holt Tubbs, and he takes the mark strongly.
Holt Tubbs has been very impressive tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been very good early in this quarter. He started him off with that first clearance and inside 50, and then's continued to do some work. Chris Atkinson needs to close him down a little bit.
And I think, like you said, he's probably in better shape than he has been for a long time, Wally.
Yeah, and he's getting better each week.
Yeah, and he's spending a lot of time on the ball, obviously. So his fitness is better than where it's been for a couple of years, probably. Anyway, Buffaloes with a chance now through Palmer. Took a bounce and then ran a couple of metres. Kicks long, and Foster again out with the hands over the head out in front. Took the mark on the second grab. So some good lead-up work from Buffaloes in the hands of Foster again in the right position, and marked strongly in front of Lonergan for Palmerston.
So Brody Foster be lining up for his second goal, Stu.
Yeah, he's had a few shots on goal. This one looks like it's swinging again to the left, and for someone who's a 100 goal kicker in the season, he's missed some that he should have got tonight, I would think. Sandy Brock again for Palmerston.
He hails from the southeast of South Australia, where he's played for South Gambia, Carry Narracourt. He's played interleague for KNTL, played in the Mid-South-East League, played for Murray South-East, Penola, where he kicked 110 goals. Oh, sorry, played 110 games and kicked 242 goals.
Not a bad return. I was down that way for Christmas, down at Robe, South Australia. You been there?
I have. My son, Clinton Gallio, lives in Millicent.
There you go.
He's coaching the Saints for the next couple of years.
Are they in the competition that Robe's in? My cousin plays at Robe.
No, Robe play in the Mid-South East League. Middleton play in the Western Border.
There you go. You heard it here first. Friday night footy.
And he also played for Glencoe, the Spud Farmers.
Very nice.
There you go.
The Spud Farmers.
Some information for you, Stu. Glencoe, the Potato Farmers in the Mid-South East Football League.
I'll lock that away and never forget it. So Jackson Clark coming out of defence to Quinn for the Buffaloes.
He played for Mount Burr too.
I reckon that next week, if we do this again next week, I reckon in the third quarter we should speak about country teams. Have a bit of a theme.
Well, we've travelled the East Coast and South Australia. We just got to go west now.
Coming up in the final quarter, we'll cross over to WA.
Lonergan over the back for Palmerston, mops up, but Joey Anderson's first there this time, gets a hand pass back inside. Pendlebury hand passes inside, and it's Stokes who chips it in and hits Shillabeer on the lead, hands out in front. There's no way Sandy Brock was going to get his hands to spoil that one, and Shillabeer will go back, take a set shot. He's the man on the mark's probably 30 metres out, and he's pretty much directly in front here, so you'd back him in from here, Wally.
Yeah, he'll make the distance because he can kick a ball a long way, as we saw in that 1 point loss grand final Southern Districts a couple of seasons ago.
Kicks on the way, and that one's pretty straight as well, straight through the middle, in fact, and at last we've got the first goal for the quarter. I think that is, Wally.
Exactly right. Palmerston have kicked the solitary point. Darwin kicked 1 goal 3, and again the repeat entries and just the work rate, and I think Pendlebury, Williams and Anderson have been very good for Palmerston, for Darwin Buffaloes, and Holt, Tubbs and Johnson have been good for Palmerston, and we see Holt, Tubbs going back into the middle of the ground. Cole Emery has been forward for a little bit, so he'll inject himself into the game, and young Riley Stone's been pretty handy forward.
Palmerston 3-6-24 to Darwin Buffaloes 5-14-44. We've gone 11.5 in the third quarter, Stu.
Lines up really high in there, but couldn't get the hit out to advantage. Spills out now to Williams, bursting out of the centre. He drives straight down the middle. Lonergan's underneath this one, but offhand, some good work by Palmer with a slick hand pass. Oh, Bowles in there with the strong body work. Got his opponent out the way, chips back inside, and Shillabeer's there again on the end of this one. So some worrying signs now for Palmerston. Buffalo's starting to get their hands on the ball and use it more effectively going forward.
Ishmael Palmer's hands were really quick, and Palmerston sort of were all a little bit in all sorts there. Shillabeer found himself in space, and there was Palmerston players pointing at different players running in different spaces, and Shillabeer kicks his second for the quarter, and that's Palmerston, Darwin's sixth for the game.
All this talk of other leagues and towns, well, maybe we should put the cue in the rack.
Concentrate on what I'm doing. So Palmerston 3 goals 6. I got Palmerston on the break.
You got it right,
Darwin 6-14. So, and we're just seeing on replay there that there was about 3 players from Darwin that Bowles could have kicked to.
Could have had the mate raffle there, and
Devon Lyons, hailing from Catherine, played for Southern Districts last year, for Buffaloes this year, and he's been really good in the ruck, Stu.
Yeah, he has. He's won the majority of the hit-outs. He's getting up very high in the middle. He's up again, but Holt Tubbs out-positioned him this time. Picked up and hand pass forward. Opportunity going forward to kick under pressure by Bennett. Some strong body work down there, but it falls over the back. And kick around the corner by Moroney. Eldridge couldn't take it diving forward. Spills out the back. Russell Davey in there. Hand pass eventually comes out to Emery. Chips inside. And that's Riley Stone for Palmerston. Kicks to centre half forward there. It spills over the back. Opportunity for Davey again. It's Froggy Davey this time. He evades a couple, gets a hand pass across to Hutchison. He's tackled, gets a left foot to it, falls into the hands of Moroney for Buffaloes, and he kicks under pressure out of defence But Palmerston got their hands on the ball again, but eventually it goes out of bounds.
Good passage of play there, well, wasn't it? They were everyone was having a dip.
Yeah, they all played pretty close to each other, and the contested footy had to be contested, and Froggy tried to get back onto his, Owen Davey, that is, tried to get back onto his left, but just couldn't get there.
Throwing now, ball comes over the back, and on the ground, it's a free kick being found to the Palmerston player who was on the bottom of that pack, and I think it's Alex Johnson, who was a pretty regular league footballer for Palmerston a few years ago, but probably hasn't played too much league football in the last couple of years.
No, he's been travelling a bit and working away, so
he handed it off to Kyle Emery standing next to him, and from one step, Emery's put that through for Palmerston's first goal since the first quarter, that would be.
Yeah, and Kyle Emery kicked his second one in the first and that one there in the third quarter. And just watching the interchange bench, Devon Lyons has come off the ground and he's gone straight into the rooms to see the trainer, and he's got a limp, something wrong with his left ankle. So, but the beauty is Chris Atkinson, who hasn't done much work tonight, gets the opportunity. Matt Campbell's back in the middle. Wade Shadford goes to him. Bowles and Chris Williams for Buffs.
Atkinson wins that hit out, but falls into the hands of Shadforth for Palmerston. He wins that clearance, drives them forward. Cammy Stokes comes out, but overruns the ball. And there's someone.
There's a Palmerston player that, as that ball was going inside their 50, is that's young Riley Stone. So I don't know whether. Keep an eye on that for us, Nick, if you can.
Well, they're waving for the trainer as they just come to him now. Doesn't look good.
And there's a free kick off the ball here. And it's going against Jalen Clark in the centre of the ground.
There's 3 trainers going out to him now. The umpire's right there on it. They might have to... he's just getting to his feet now, actually.
Plays going on. It's Shadforth, but his kick's chopped off by Jalen Clark. He worked his way back after giving away that free kick. He chips in short now, and Jackson Clark kicks it in. Shillaby has kicked it back twice as far as it came forward, and fortunately it's gone into the hands of Moroney, but he's run out of bounds with the ball there.
He's Riley Stone's coming to the interchange
his
area,
jaw.
and he's holding his jaw there, Stu.
Yes, it's not very good. It suggests something untoward might have happened, but none of us saw it, of course, and neither did any of the umpires. So play goes on the outer side of the ground. And
He's got he doesn't look very comfortable.
No. So kick under pressure forward, went out of bounds on the full, and Cammy Stokes for Buffaloes will take the free kick. Out there, he chips into Moroney, who's got plenty of space inside the corridor for Buffaloes. So much space, he doesn't know where to go, but eventually goes straight down the middle and spills over the back. And the opportunity for Seaton Kernoth to drive Darwin forward went through the hands of Lonergan there. Now the ball's caught in underneath, spills out now. Hand pass comes across. Thompson couldn't take it cleanly, hacked it off the ground out towards the 50 line, and under pressure the ball's spilled out again. Thompson got a hand pass out wide. Lonergan off balance as he kicked that ball, and it's gone out of bounds on the full on the outer side.
Timms and Palmer matchup's been very good this quarter. They've not given each other much space.
So Palmerston inside 50 again, goes through the hands of Perry there. Towed forward by Joey Anderson off the ground. Foster went nowhere, and Palmerston have got some numbers there. Emery got his boot to the ball, but he was tackled as he did. Comes back into the hands of Palmer now for Buffaloes, drives the ball forward. Thompson back there, got caught on top of the Buffaloes player and tripped over. The hand pass comes back across to Foster. He tried a dinky little kick but didn't come off, and Thompson for Palmerston drives him out, but only as far as Jalen Clark. He's under pressure. It gets pushed off the ball. Anderson hand passes back inside to Seaton Kernoth. Matty Campbell out there, and Chris Williams swinging around, drives it towards the goal square. That looks like a strong mark in front to Misha Perry. Ishmael Palmer's claiming it, but Misha Perry had his hands on the ball first, and that's the way it's been paid. He chips into the pocket to Emery.
Tempo stepped up in the last couple of minutes, both those sides, and the crowd's getting right involved. So it's a good game of football. Palmerston has started to make a bit of leeway through the middle of the ground.
Chester there for Palmerston, but Bowles worked his way to the front, spilt the mark. Perry again gets a hand pass out as he's tackled, and plenty of strong work over the ball. Jackson Clark in there gets a hand pass over the top, but Perry's worked back. He's under pressure. Now it spills out where Jalen Clark's got the ball at his feet. He's tackled with the ball underneath him, but we'll have a ball up. And yeah, it's getting pretty willing in the contest now.
Riley Stone still in the hand of the trainers.
So up high was Atkinson. Eventually took the ball and hand passed out wide, but it's trickled over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. So Buffalo's attacking end of the ground, just outside forward 50, boundary throw in. Atkinson reaches over the top, but taken off hands there by Liam McDonald for Palmerston. He drives it towards the centre of the ground, but mopped up back there by Buffalo's kicked lateral there, and Matty Campbell's out in front, has the opportunity now to drive Buffalo's deep forward, looking for Ishmael Palmer on the lead. Tim's right with him again, spills it this time, and Palmer recovers best, kept his feet, and centred the ball, found Patrick Bowles at centre half forward. So Bowles going back now, looking like he's going to have the shot at goal. He'll be kicking from around about 50 metres.
That wasn't a bad kick from Savika to find Matty Campbell out in the wing. It sort of went sideways off his boot. So we see both teams using their interchange bench. Bowles kicking from 50 metres.
Kicks on its way now. It's got the distance okay, but it's swung away to the left, and a minor score again.
Buffs kicking 1 goal 4 for the quarter, Stu, to 1-1 to Palmerston.
6:15 suggests that they could have had a much bigger lead than they have at the 21-minute mark of the third quarter. Emery straight up the middle with a torpedo. It's almost hit the centre circle, and it's found Johnson on the end of it, who plays on with a hand pass to Alwyn Davey. Alwyn Davey evades one player, kicks forward inside 50. Out on the lead there, Holt Tubbs, but he's rounded up by Cammy Stokes, and the ball's forced out of bounds. Gee, that was some pretty good work. I wonder if that was a plan they've been working on all week, Wally.
Well, it looked pretty well. They kicked the ball 70 metres.
Geez, to kick the ball that long.
Remember in 2011 in the Thunder Premiership where Jason Rowe kicked it to the middle of the ground, marked by Andrew McLeod, hit Ross Tungatale, and Ross Tungatale and kicked his 6 for the quarter or something.
The glory days.
That was a great kick by Kyle Emery. He really hit that sweep. And there's nothing better, Stu, is there, to see a torpedo, sausage, barrel, whatever they call it.
Yeah. No, that's right. Don't see too many of them these days. But, yes, back in our younger days, they were plentiful.
Younger days? Those were the days.
Boundary throw in now. Spills over the back, and Moroney gets a hand pass out. Quinn got his boot to the ball, but falls into the hands of Alwyn Davey. Drives the ball long towards goal from out wide. And he's kicked it from about 45, right on the boundary line. Fantastic finish there, and Palmerston are right back in the game.
Yes, Alwyn Davies been very busy through the midfield, and he's pushed himself forward on that one at that stoppage and kicked a very good goal. That's his second for the game. He kicked one in the first, and that wonderful goal to get his team back in the game, and Cole Emery's 70-metre torpedo got them going forward in that instance. So Palmerston have kicked 2-1 to Buffalo's 1 goal 5 for the quarter, and 36 plays 51 in the favour of Buffaloes with 23 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Might have missed a goal Wally. Shillabeer's got 2 this quarter.
Oh, he has 2. My apologies. 2 goals.
Mackenzie in the ruck for Buffaloes this time, just as the siren goes. So after Buffaloes looked like they were going to blow it out a bit, Palmerston got the last couple of goals for the quarter and finished up a pretty even quarter, and we've still got a contest going into the last quarter, Nick.
It's back to 15 points. It's Magpies 5-6-36. The Darwin Buffaloes 6-15-51. We'll be back with the final quarter right after this.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
come in and see it.
Still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium, where it's the Darwin Buffaloes in control here. Palmerston got a few late goals, but just quickly, while we're just looking at the a bit of an injury update, Devon Lyons has got that the calf strapped. Looks like there's a Davy boy down on the bench with a leg elevated.
Yeah, Russell Davies down on the ground. Keaton Holt-Tubbs is off for a rest. Michaelis McMaster's there's also, and looks like Riley Stone's back on the ground.
Palmerston at 5-6-36, Darwin Buffalo 6-15-51. Here's Stu Davis.
Matty Campbell with a clearance again for Buffaloes, sees them straight into attack in the opening seconds of this final quarter. Shillabeer there tackled with the ball, and we'll have a ball up deep inside, forward 50 for Buffaloes.
We saw Riley Stone go down with what looked like a jaw, but he's back on the field and looks raring to go.
It's good to see. So McKenzie in there is tackled by Brock. Ball spills out, and Joey Anderson flicks it out the back, but couldn't find a teammate. Now falls into the hands of Campbell. He hand passed to Shillabeer, who spilled it. Hand passes wide, goes through the legs of Eldridge, and but he butters up now and kicks a floater forward. Almost a mark taken deep forward by Quinn there, but Foster got the kick straight across the face of goal. And out in front there, Andrew Bennett for Palmerston is rounded up and taken over the boundary line.
So another good start by Darwin, getting early entries into the 50. And just a couple of bumbling mistakes there by both teams early in the last quarter.
So the boundary throw-in falls short this time and bounces straight in the air. The ruckman have a go at it that time. Anderson gets a hand pass back, but umpire said he didn't. In fact, he got a throw back and a 50-metre penalty to go with it. So something was obviously said, I would imagine.
Surprise, surprise.
So Palmerston now. Ball goes over the pack there and mopping up at the back with Stokes. Drives the ball out of defence. Mackenzie's on the end of that one. Picks up on the bounce, chips out wide, looking for Chris Williams, but it's gone over his head and bounced over the boundary line and over the fence on the outer side. And one of the players will have to go and retrieve that because the nearest spectator is probably about 300 metres away.
15-point deficit while in the way of the Buffs. Palmy definitely not out of it though. Like, what do they need to do to go back to how they were playing in that first quarter?
Yeah, well, they need to just control the football and go fast when they have to go fast, and try and just take a few more risks like they did against, a few weeks ago when they won their first game against Wanderers in the last quarter. When Wanderers came back at them, they took a few risks and kicked a couple of goals. So, they get one now, and it puts them right back in the ball game and puts the pressure back on Buffaloes.
There's nothing better than a bit of scoreboard pressure, is there?
It's that perception. Perceived pressure.
So, from the previous boundary throw-in, the ball's worked around about 10 metres, and we'll try again. Mackenzie, good body work, won the tap straight down to Chris Williams. Williams on the left foot drives Buffaloes forward. Misha Perry in there for Palmerston, can't pick it up cleanly, it spills out the back, and now Seaton Kernoth for Buffaloes on the outside of the foot. And that's a good finish from about 40 metres outside of the foot on the right foot, and a goal to just stretch that margin a bit early in the final quarter.
Yeah, back out to 21 points. Darwin Buffalo 7-15-57, and Palmerston Magpies, they are 5-6-36. We've gone 3.5 in the final quarter.
Yeah, so Matty Campbell comes for a rest. Michaelis McMasters from Palmerston is waiting to come back on. And we see that Lockie McKenzie's taken the ruck work for Buffs.
Fair bit of size about him, isn't there?
Yeah, Lockie's always been a good sized player. He played academies and played nationals and played a key position down back generally.
So Mackenzie up high, gets his hand to this one, taps it forward. In there was Chris Williams, couldn't control the ball. Now ball's caught in underneath a couple of players, and we'll have a ball up again inside the centre square.
Well, talking of injuries, Bradley and Jared Stokes looked like I was at the TIO Buffs game. It looked like they both did hammies last week, did you?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what Bradley did, but I'm I know that Jared Stokes did do a hamstring.
A fair bit going on here.
And
bit of downfield action too.
Yeah, I think that the umpire in the end zone is going to have a report here. At
maybe not. Just a free kick against Jonas Nicky, but it's Kyle Emery who's going to be taking it for Palmerston. So
he's blowing out Kyle Emery, isn't he?
Bit of undisciplined stuff behind off the play. So Emery drives it forward. There's plenty of Buffaloes underneath this one. Stokes gets a hand pass over the top. Pendlebury taps it forward, and Shadforth in there. Couldn't get the hand pass to a teammate. It was smothered off his hand and forced out over the boundary line.
Bennett's come from the ground after that sort of altercation, and Bennett's been a good midfielder for Palmerston tonight. He's been hit hard under the footy, and he's given his players first use of the ball coming out of the centre.
So Broadchurch read that off Mackenzie's hands. He kicked around the corner, but couldn't keep it in play, and it was out of bounds on the full in the forward pocket. Stokes again chips into Pendlebury, just forward of the defensive goal square for Darwin. There's another player going to the ground out here, but right by the umpire, nothing said there. And the kick comes forward. Mackenzie on the end of this one takes the mark.
Did well there, Mackenzie. Just protected the ball, dropped the space there, and just used the body well.
Yeah, looks like Timms has gone in the ruck for Palmerston, so he's playing on Lockie Mackenzie, who's in the ruck for Buffaloes.
Ball's out here on the wing. Joey Anderson taps it forward. Freeman in and under for Palmerston. Couldn't get his kick forward. He's back in there again. Jalen Clark sits on his back, but the umpire says, I'll ball this one up. So Buffaloes are... They don't blow sides away and don't get blown away themselves. They're always in the contest well, but there's probably some games that they should be winning by more.
Yeah, the sort of conversion hasn't been great post-Christmas, watching even the games they've won. So as they go into attack through bowls, inside 50, goes from 50 metres, it's a long kick, and it's offline for another point.
Little better goal.
Move that quickly from that boundary throw in, Stu.
Yeah. So, yeah, while they don't beat the bottom sides by as much as they perhaps should, they've only lost to, the Nightcliffs and the Tiwis by 5 or 6 goals as well. So,
and they've been in the contest for the majority of the game.
Well, that's a shocking kick straight into the player on the mark. Anderson surprised him a bit, got the hand pass back to Eldridge. Off hands Thompson for Emery it was for Palmerston, kicked it forward, and we've got another free kick here for high contact, and will be Moroney taking the free kick for Buffaloes. Chips in, misses the target, it bounces to Pendlebury, but he was good enough to get it to Stokes. Stokes drives Darwin forward again, double-fisted punch from behind by Thompson, and he recovers to get first hands on the ball, but he's worried out of it, and the hand pass comes back from Chris Williams. Stokes a long way up the ground, looking for Seaton Kernoth. He picked it up cleverly on the outside of the foot again, like he kicked the previous goal, and this time it's landed right in the goal square in the hands of his teammate Ishmael Palmer.
So he'll be queuing the rack sort of stuff for Palmer, would have thought, if he nails this one well.
Yeah, Ishmael Palmer had too much size for young Thomas Freeman there, and just kept his big frame in front and marked it well. And Isaac Seddon Kunoff, with that outside of his foot, gets a goal assist, and that's Ishmael Palmer's second for the game, one in the first and now one in the last. And at the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter, Buffaloes 58 play Palmerston 36.
So Palmerston 5 goals. They need 5 to get in front. It's hard to see that happening the way the game's gone tonight.
Just updating that score there, 8-16 64 now in Buffaloes to Palmerston 5-6 36. We've gone 9 minutes in the final corner, Stu.
So umpire Sam Wood coming in to get us restarted here. Chris Atkinson in the ruck now for Buffaloes, up against Keaton Holt-Tubbs. And Atkinson got his hand to the ball, but at ground level it was Free kick's paid anyway. Williams streaming forward, goes through the hands of Foster there, and Lonergan over the back taps it forward. Still working in there with Foster. A wrestle for the ball on the ground. It spills out the back now, but spills over the boundary line, in fact.
I've pumped Foster's tyres up a touch tonight. Wilder saying he's a good grab, but he should have really swallowed that one, shouldn't he?
Yeah, it was a good kick by Chris Williams. He gave him a lot of time to get to it, but I like the attack on the ball by Palmerston's Johnson. You know, he went hard and fast and tried to get something going out of the middle and took a risk, and he got pinged for holding the ball. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you've got a side as young as Palmerston and bottom of the ladder, you try things like that. And he's just done it again.
This time it's spilled out, Chester in there, but quick hand pass out to Quinn. Quinn's tackled there strongly and holding the ball. I think he wasn't really aware of the pressure that was coming on, and Sandy Brock again switches across to the grandstand side of the ground. And Palmerston chance to bring it away. Nudged under the ball there was Misha Perry by Jackson Clark, and he'll take the free kick. Kyle Emery's trying to take the advantage about 30 seconds after the action.
Taking the PI there, I would have thought, well.
The ball had stopped.
But he gets it eventually anyway with a chip kick from Misha Palmer.
Perry?
Misha Perry, yes. Sorry. Kicks inside. Sandy Brock down on the wing here. Spilt the mark, but recovered and hooked around the corner. It was long inside forward 50. Cammy Stokes back there.
Oh, how's it turned to foot?
Yes.
Very impressive. Cameron Stokes.
Jackson Clark under this, under pressure from a couple of Palmerston players. Quinn comes in, took it one-handed, but was bundled off the ball. And we have a late whistle here. It's a Palmerston free kick, in fact.
Yeah, Jackson Clark's just given away 2 free kicks in a trot, so he's not having the best run with the umps as it stands.
McDonald hand passed out to Emery, who drives the ball into the goal square. Off hands there, and it goes over for a behind to Palmerston.
Liam McDonald, the recipient of that one, handed off to Cole Emery, and Cole Emery kicked the ball 60 metres yet again.
Pendlebury straight up the ground to Quinn at half back. He chips backwards and sideways, and the mark's taken there by Savika. He goes wide again to Pendlebury in some space. Pendlebury's got another player in space, Chris Williams at half back. He chips inside to Campbell, and Campbell takes the mark just about in the centre square. He chips in looking for Jackson Clark, and he took a strong mark under pressure, and then Holt Tubbs fell on him and hurt himself, and there's obviously something pretty serious here, because the Darwin players are calling for a trainer straight away, and I think he's had some knee trouble, and potentially it could be a knee again.
Yeah, he's had that knee reconstructed.
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
So we'll have a break in the play here while this gets sorted out, but imagine the stretcher's coming out, in fact, so it's bad luck for Holt Tubbs, who we were saying earlier, was playing his best footy for a while, looked to be in the best shape he's been in for a while as well. So
yeah, he was consistent and was playing in the ruck, and he's usually a key forward. That's where his tool of his trade has been, kicking goals, but he's really stepped up for Palmerston, and he's been needed in the ruck, and he's done a serviceable job over the last few weeks for them, and tonight I thought he'd been their best player. Holt Tubbs, Bennett, Chester, Stone have been good. Owen Davies starting to get into the play, and for Buffalo Stokes, McKenzie, Pendlebury, Moroney have been good down back. Anderson's been, and Williams has been good, and of course Bowles is probably, along with Matty Campbell, giving him a lot of drive, Nick, through the centre of the ground.
Especially Matty Campbell, as soon as they made that switch and put him in the middle, I think at one stage he had 3 or 4 centre clearances in a row, and it was really the difference that sort of kicked down Buffalo's further out in front.
And Mark Quinn's been all right as well for Buffaloes, and you had a bit of mail on his history in the break. Yeah,
he hails from Tea Tree Gully, actually, Stu.
Funny you should mention that, Stu.
Yeah.
We've got the stats up for you right now.
He's played Tea Tree Gully, he's played at North Adelaide, played a lot of junior football there, he's played at Border Districts, and he's come to Darwin Buffalo. So I think the North Adelaide connection with Matty and Matty Campbell and Joey Anderson, of course, has brought a couple of players into the territory.
Yeah, and Mark Quinn, I was just wondering when you said that he was from Tea Tree Gully, if he's the son of Greg Quinn, who was a long-term player for them, and a state cricketer for South Australia as well. And if he is, that would make him the grandson of Bob Quinn, who was a Magarey medalist back in the 30s. So
for Port Adelaide?
Port Adelaide, yes.
Yeah, great player in his day.
Yeah.
So goal scorers for the game so far for Darwin Buffaloes. Ishmael Palmer has 2. Darren Shillaby has 2, but both in the third quarter. 1 to Matty Campbell, Chris Williams, Isaac Kernoff-Seaton, who kicked that. Seaton Kernoff that kicked it on the outside of his right boot, going the opposite way, and Brody Foster. And for Palmerston, 2 each to Alwyn Davey and Kyle Emery. And Dane Nichols has 1 as well.
Caden Holt-Tubbs just getting stretched off now, so we're thinking of him, and all the best to him in his recovery, whatever injury he's done. Hopefully it's not too serious for the young fella's sake. But the score here at TIO Stadium, it's Palmerston 5-7-37 to Darwin Buffaloes 8-16-64.
So that'll leave Palmerston a couple short on the bench, of course, with Russell Davey out of the game as well. But fortunately, Riley Stone was able to go back on after what looked like a game-ending injury for him in the third quarter.
And, just except for Devon Lyons, I think this is the first week, the last few weeks, Buffs pretty much haven't had a bench.
Yeah, that's right. They've run out of players on the bench, and as we see, Keaton Holt-Tubbs been brought to the sideline by the medical staff.
So the action will get underway again. Jackson Clark was the recipient of the free kick before that unfortunate injury, or as that unfortunate injury occurred. Hand pass comes across here to Seaton Kernoff. He chips down the line, and the mark's taken out there by Shillaby on the wing on the outer side. Chips in, flicked over the back by Foster, helped it on its way. Chris Williams running onto the ball, centres and straight into the arms of Ishmael Palmer. So a beautiful centering kick there, and some good football to work the ball from half back, and to have a shot at goal from 20 out straight in front.
Yeah, Shillaby has been serviceable, playing a lot higher this quarter, and Chris Williams continues to run the lines, and could have had a shot for goal, but saw Ishmael Palmer. It was a great directed kick to him.
And Palmer reaps the rewards and kicks the goal from 20 out, so he's kicked the last 2, and third for the game, I think you were saying, Wally.
Yeah, he kicked one in the first, Stewie, to get Palmerston, I'll go again. Darwin going again. He's kicked 2 for the quarter, and they've got 3 in.
Well, it'd make it easier for you if Palmer played for Palmerston, wouldn't it, Wally?
Yeah, nah.
Darwin Darwin Buffaloes 9-16 70 to Palmerston 5-7-37. We've gone 18 minutes, right on 18 minutes in the final quarter.
Quarter will go a bit longer, of course, because we had that stoppage for the stretcher. But Mackenzie up high, gets it down to Quinn. Quinn's hand pass across, but it was a throw, I think was called, and Alex Johnson breaks away from the centre for Palmerston over the top. Punch came down. Pendlebury got the kick away for Buffaloes, bounces it just inside the boundary line, and now it stays in. Chris Williams on the end of it, kicks it forward. Emery working behind the ball there, trapped it, but it spilled away off the toe there of Paul Campbell, and out of bounds. Emery said that was deliberate, but umpire Ben Heaslip said it wasn't, and I think he wins.
That's good.
It's the boundary throw. Mackenzie again got his hand to it, down to Quinn again, but he's under plenty of pressure in there. Quinn's in there again, toes it forward, picks up, sweeps the hand pass across. Kendall Garling on the end of this one. Drives the ball forward for Palmerston. Oh, almost a strong mark taken in front there by Riley Stone. Comes back to him now, hooks around the corner inside 50. It's going to fall into the lap there of Aaron Lonergan, I think it is, might have gone forward.
Yeah, the captain for Palmerston Magpies, Aaron Lonergan's marked the ball probably 40 metres out from goal. He'll kick from 50s. Nick, I think he's right on his mark here.
Yeah, definitely.
But Riley Stone, it's good to see him back on the ground, and he tacked that ball really high. And then butted up on a second effort and got it to Aaron Lonigan one-on-one. 50-metre penalty.
What was that for?
Yeah, I think it might have been Ishmael Palmer coming in to try and pick up Kyle Emery, who was lurking around for a hand pass, but Palmer probably got inside the protected zone there. So this is be a certainty for Lonigan, and it is. And Palmerston's first goal of the quarter, probably too little too late though.
I reckon from the goal line, I reckon Lonigan might get that distance. I reckon he was up against it though.
Yeah, I reckon he did well to get that one.
Here's a bit of trivia for you. In the end of year 12 and into, well, I didn't go to uni, so into nothing really.
Yeah.
The year after, I dated Lonigan's cousin in Bendigo.
Oh, right.
Laura. Greetings to you, Laura. Ripper.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway,
mate still. Good mates.
Back to the football.
I wonder where Lonigan's played well over the years. Just here?
Yeah, he's mainly just played around country Victoria and then came up here and moved up here and then played for Thunder as well. But he's been a good serviceable player for Palmerston and captain.
So Sandy Brock in the ruck now over the top, won it and got his own ball back, hand passed across to Emery, who kicked long into the forward line, but Jonas Nicky for Buffalo's working back and taking that mark over his shoulder in the back pocket. He's going to switch across goal here, and Tim Eldridge has got a bit of space, but the bounce doesn't favour him, and now Shadforth, his kick on the outside of the foot went straight into the arms of Moroney. For Buffalo's, Moroney chips it out wide and finds Paul Campbell out here at half-back. He drives along the wing, and Ishmael Palmer on the end of this one on a good lead as well. Wheels around and kicks back towards the corridor. Chris Williams got his hands to the ball but couldn't hold the mark. Eldridge in there again, gets a good hand pass out and underneath to Chris Williams. He chips across to centre half forward. Joey Anderson on the end of this one. Hand passes across to Bowles. Bowles with a long range shot at goal. Hits the goal post from about 48 metres out.
Darwin looks so much better when they move the ball and they switch the ball around and get the first one out. When they start fumbling around, they try and take that tackle on, they just
cough it up.
Do disservice to all the hard work that people further down the ground have done for them.
So Bowles in there again, picks up cleanly with one hand, got that hand passed inboard to Eldridge. He was under plenty of pressure, and after they got rid of the ball, he was tackled without it, just as Palmerston were breaking away. So Eldridge will go back and wait for someone to retrieve the footy for him. So Eldridge now for Buffaloes. He's about 70 out from goal as he kicks this inside 50 down towards the pocket, over the back. Palmer there again, picks up and hand passes inboard, and Shillabeer on the end of this one. Oh, evaded one tackle, didn't like the treatment he got and just stopped dead, and now there's a bit of a punch on him here, and that's probably not what the coaches will be wanting to see at this stage of the game. Plays going on, and Paul Campbell's picked this one up. It's going back towards that Mellard players, kicks over them, and Sandy Brock settles things down with a mark in defence for Palmerston. He drives down the corridor here, but players overrun the ball. Bowles in there, picks it up cleanly, gets a hand pass out. McKenzie with good hands to Clark, but Clark's kick was chopped off by Chester, who toes the ball out in front of himself towards the outer wing, and contest between a couple of players there, sees the ball spill out of bounds on the outer wing.
David and Goliath kind of gear there well.
Yes, it was. But Chester's been serviceable for Palmerston tonight, playing across half-back. Stewie he sort of was really came off his man to impact the contest and got onto Jalen Clark's and sort of chased the ball to the boundary throw-in, and
Yeah, I've seen Palmerston a few times this year, and I've liked Chester every time he's played, so he's been a good player for most of the year for them. Kick comes inside Lonergan under this one, but it goes over his head, and it's Buffaloes again out of defence. Comes down here to Joey Anderson in some space. He slows things down now, waiting for options forward. He's got Timmy Eldridge wandering past him here, but chips inside instead to Patrick Bowles, and why wouldn't you go to Bowles? He's had plenty of the footy tonight and used it pretty well every time he's got it. He goes wider again to the outer side, and Pendlebury over there takes the mark. Plays on straight away inside 50, and the mark's taken over there by Jackson Clark. I wouldn't think that this would be within his range. Wild from out there, although he seems pretty confident about it.
Yeah, he's gone back.
Maybe just take a bit of a sting out of the game, wind a bit off the clock.
He's done the Michael Holding bit. He's gone right back. Looks pretty confident, Stu.
He does, but Bowles has worked into a bit of space here, and he's ignored that, so he'd want this to be a reasonable kick, I would think. Kick's on its way. It's always on the near side. In fact, it's missed everything and out of bounds on the full. So it's McMaster's for Palmerston. Will take the free kick right next to the behind post.
26 minutes nearly gone here at TIO Stadium with the stretcher case of Keaton Holt Tubbs.
So it's Broadchurch who took that mark there, and again things have slowed right down here. Kicks out of defence. Ball bounces over the back and out of bounds in front of Anderson and Timms. So another boundary throw in. And another bit of push and shove up near the goal square, and it's Alwyn Davey and Chillaby are involved again, so not sure they'll be socialising after the game tonight.
There's a bit of feeling from all of the game, actually. It started in the first quarter and it's continued on. For this quarter, it's flared up again.
Ishmael Palmer with good hands there in the contest, and he's taken his kick, but it's down towards the goal but won't reach. So the game ends, Nick, a bit fiery at times, but in the end Buffaloes will be glad to get the points, and that should just about wrap up a final spot for them, you would think.
Absolutely, though. They needed that win, 9-17-71 to Palmerston. 6-7-43. It was Darwin pretty much in control all night, Wal, but the Palmy did well in bits and in parts throughout the game tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, it just comes back to experience and the players they've got that at times can't step up, and it leaves it to a few, and left it to Keaton Holt Tubbs tonight, who I thought was probably Palmerston's better, and Kyle Emery, and then Alwyn Davey started getting into the game, and then they had their injuries, and you know, but it was a workmanlike effort for Palmerston when you for Darwin. You know, he had 26 scoring shots, the opportunity to kick 17 odd goals, so that's not a bad night out for him. And Palmerston, well, they continue to just ply their trade and work hard each week.
Stu, the Buffs pretty much sewn up a spot in the finals now. What do you say? Do you see them going deep into the finals?
Well, it's going to be difficult for them to get a top three spot, and you know, we all know it's pretty hard from fourth and fifth place, and they're likely to have to play Southern Districts in the first week of the finals. So they'd have to improve a bit, I would think, to be a real threat. But you know, they get Stafford back in the side and Jared Stokes back in the side. They can cause some damage, I think.
All right, well, it's all over here at TIO Stadium. It was the Darwin Buffaloes 9-17-71 to the Palmerston Magpies 6-7-43. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow right back here on AFL NTV.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.